Hey y'all, my name is Jordan. In this video we will go over the melody for Arkansas Traveler. Originally this tune combined kind of words with the music to have like this kind of ongoing skit or play that kind of developed as the music developed. It's pretty cool. To get an example of that and what that sounds like, check out the David Grisman and the Jerry Garcia album, Not for Kids Only. Arkansas, they do a version of Arkansas Traveler in that style on that album, and it's really cool. This one is also kind of like a common nursery rhyme or children's song. Most people know it as the Baby Bumblebee song. I've got me a baby bumblebee. Won't my mama be so proud of me? The melody is pretty intricate here. So even at the easiest level, it's not super easy. It can be made easier with your difficulty slider, and definitely by using other Tunefox tools to help you practice these things at slower speeds and in pieces. This one is a good challenge for your fretting and picking hand. Learning the basic melody to a tune is always good. It gives you a good foundation so you know what the important notes are, and you'll be able to kind of highlight those whenever you're playing this tune with a different style, like if you're playing it in the Scruggs, melodic, or single string styles. And learning the basic melody, especially when we associate the words and lyrics with the melody itself, is always going to be good for us. It's just going to help us memorize and internalize the music in a really natural way. All right, I'm going to play through this thing slowly so that you can get a look at what is going on with my fretting and picking hands when playing this basic melody. Here we go. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. Okay, so as I said earlier, this is a intricate and tough melody to play, so using your Tunefox tools will help you practice this in a way that is not overwhelming and in a way that's achievable. So using your tempo slider so you practice it slow at a speed that's easy to achieve is going to be both good for you and maybe necessary, right? Using the focus feature will help you learn in pieces. I mean, that's one that I really highly recommend, right? Learning a whole tune from top to bottom can be very overwhelming, but if we divide it in pieces and maybe just try to learn like a measure a day or a measure every other day or something like that, it can be a lot less stressful and a lot more attainable. So this basic melody here is just an A section, like we have one distinct melody there in the A section, right? And then there's a B section with another distinct melody. Right, so it's a A-B form as we're playing it right now. When you start to play this thing in its kind of fiddle tune form, which it's more commonly played in, it will be an A-A-B-B form tune. All right, so let's go over a few technique tips that will help you play this more smoothly. The first one I'm going to mention is finger preparation, and this is going to go for your pick hand and for your fretting hand. For example, here, before I even start the tune, I'm going to have my pick hand fingers on kind of home base here. So my thumb is going to be on or just above the third string. My index finger is going to be on or just above the second string. And my middle finger will be on or just below, I should say, just below the first string there. So that's kind of home base. for my picking hand. But depending on what is coming up next, in the next measure of the song, or even if it was a different song in the first measure, I might prepare them in a different way so that they would be on or near the strings that I would need to play there at the start of the measure or for any upcoming measure. And as you go through the tune, there's going to be times where notes are kind of held out, right? And so when you have those extra split seconds, those are going to be the times where you need to kind of move your hand and get things into position. And as I said, that goes for your pick hand. It also goes for your fretting hand. So when I start out this tune, I'm going to go ahead and have this second fret pushed down because that's my first note. But also, I'm going to have my ring finger kind of stretched out because the very next note, or actually the third note I'll need here in this song, as we have it, will be on that fourth fret of the first string. So watch as I just play a few measures of this. Watch what I do with my fingers to kind of get things prepared. I'll go really slowly so you can see how I'm moving things in these little split seconds to get fingers where I need them early. So you can see I'm kind of moving, like if I'm playing an open string, that's a good time to move my fret hand and get it prepared for an upcoming fretted note that's happening after those open strings, right? Another thing that I'm doing in regards to my pick hand, if I end up playing the same string over and over, right after I pick it, I'm kind of resetting it and getting it back into position and ready to play that string again as soon as possible. I'm not waiting till the last millisecond there. Watch my picking hand here as I play this first measure after the intro. You can see after each note that I picked, I kind of got whatever finger I needed prepared and ready for the next upcoming note as soon as possible. Another thing I'm trying to do, and this is not super necessary at first, but if you're able to do it, I want to encourage you to do this, is leave fingers down whenever you can. And this goes whenever we're playing an ascending line on a single string. You see I went 0 to 4 there in regards to the frets, and after I played the second fret and went to the fourth, I went ahead and left that second fret note down. And what that's going to do is if I need to go back to that fret, all I'm going to have to do is just lift one finger instead of having to lift and put one down, right? So this makes your playing a lot more efficient. It really leads to speed and smooth playing. And the next step beyond that is if we have a descending line, trying to put multiple fingers down at the same time will be something else that helps you get that smoother and faster playing eventually. But when you're practicing this, when you're first learning this, you will have to go very slow, and that's fine. You're just developing that muscle control. It will take some time, but building this habit will help you play faster in the long run. As I said, we want to try to use when we're playing those open strings as a time to make shifts, moving around from one fret to another, preparing our fret hand. There is a moment here in this tune where we don't have that luxury and we just need to make a quick shift, and this is just part of playing a stringed instrument and just something we need to practice. So if we're looking at measure 6 here, we've got kind of a little walk up and a big stretch too. If you're not used to this, this can be kind of hard. As I said, we don't have to leave fingers down at first if that's tough, but it is should be a goal for yourself. So right after we play that note twice, we're going to shift back quickly to the 5th fret. It's not too challenging, but if it's new, it can be, a little bit intimidating. Again here, use those Tunefox tools, work on this thing a measure at a time. Don't try to learn it all in a day. Make your goals small and manageable. You'll end up getting more from it in the end. So in regards to the picking hand, As I said earlier, we're just mainly operating out of this kind of home base, which is more from the Scruggs style here. And so, you know, if a note is on the first string, we're playing it with our middle finger. If a note's on the second string, we're playing it with our index. And if a note's on the third or fourth string, we're playing it with our thumb, right? So this is just kind of an easier introductory way to play this melody. But usually when we have really intricate melodies like this, we'll use single string technique, and that's like an alternation between our thumb and our index finger. So this single string technique is really good for playing intricate melodies like this at higher speeds, right? If we're just playing at kind of a gentle speed, doing the middle finger over and over on the same string isn't too hard. But when you get going to really fast speeds, that single string technique can really help you push it to the next level. So some practice tips, use those Tunefox tools. We've talked about that. Repetitive listening is really good. So listen using the Tunefox player as practice, like do that regularly. Listen to different versions of Arkansas Traveler, especially ones that have the words, so you can associate those words with the melody. That Not for Kids Only album that I talked about earlier is a great example. Add that to a playlist, listen to that song, you know, several times a week as practice. And we talked about using the focus feature to break this thing up in pieces, but sometimes you might develop your own exercise that's just 3 or 4 notes repeating. Maybe we're just taking kind of the first 4 notes from measure 2 here. And maybe we're practicing putting both fingers down at the same time. Right? We get a workout in that way. We build muscles and we build muscle memory. This is good practice. We've got to do a lot of repetitions to kind of get better and stronger, just like we're working out at a gym. So there is some licks here. A lot of the licks will show you how to use that single string that I talked about with the same melody notes. And there's some other ones that show you an alternate fingering. And that's just kind of how to play the same melody notes in a different way. There's some times where we can use a fretted note instead of an open string, and it just gives us a different perspective on how to play it and helps us learn the banjo neck a little bit more thoroughly. Right there, I used all fretted notes to kind of play that intro in that first measure that usually we had been using several open strings like this. So if you try out some of those alternate fingering licks and some of the single string licks, that will start to get you prepared to play this thing in the single string style. All right, there is a lot to work on here. Remember to use Tunefox tools, especially that difficulty slider or the tempo slider, and also remember the Tunefox tutor can kind of guide you through everything. So that's always a good option when you're not sure where to start. Use that Tunefox tutor. And as I said, these licks will get you prepared to play the single string style version. So if you get this one down and start feeling comfortable with the basic version and a few licks, check out the single string style version. And while that one may be intimidating, remember you can use your difficulty slider and your Tunefox tools to learn these things in pieces. It'll be less intimidating, more manageable, and more achievable. All right, and as soon as you're able, start trying to pick along with the Tunefox player as a backing track. That's going to help you really nail your steady time. All right, I hope you all enjoy this one. Keep picking and stay tuned.